Hello. Thank you for tuning the Spotlight Podcast. Today, we got the special guest, Miss Terrie Christine. For nearly 2 decades, Miss Terrie has been guiding light through the realm of spiritual and emotional healing. Her unique availabilities as the access into her intuition and deep understanding, the struggles, fears, and anxiety people face has made her sought after experts in the self improvement of the community. She is also featured on the popular platforms such as you guys must know as the Real Housewives, Love and Marriage DC, and several appearances on the Good Morning Washington. Terry's work has touched many lives across the globe. The help is the individuals reconnect the inner selves and create fulfilling lives, pinpointing their unseen obstacles and clearing away energetic blocks that hold them back. Terry's mission is to help uncover the release of the limit beliefs formed past the experience, leading to emotions and physical healing. Her expertise lies quickly identifying the roots that causes these blocks and guiding you towards the path of self-improvement and inner peace. Today we're gonna jump right into the questions. How you doing, Miss?
Doing very well. I love that. Thank you so much. What a great introduction.
Thank you. Can you explain how you started this journey in the manifesting world?
Yeah, so I had a spiritual epiphany at the end of a 14-year relationship. And so it got me to the place where I didn't want to live anymore. And so I felt that I needed to shift out of this body or I wasn't going to be happy with what I had
Yes,
when I talk. So it's getting me a little
that's okay. What are some common signs that indicated a person was stuck in their life?
common signs. Wow. Well, it's the basic. It's people that are saying they're frustrated. It's in relationships and they're very broken or upset. It's, go ahead.
How do you approach helping someone who feels stuck? Could you share a success story?
Well, I have lots of success stories. So it's about using my intuition and being able to tell people what it is that they're struggling with without them telling me about them. So because I'm clairvoyant, clairaudient, and clairsentient, meaning that I see movies in my head, I hear conversations, and the clairsentient is just knowing. So if I would be working with you, I'd say, I just feel this, I just know it. And then I just start telling you about you. So I'm not talk therapy. I'll just start telling you like the movie that I'm seeing. It doesn't mean that I'll see mom and dad or you and dad arguing. I'll see two fish swimming in the sea and one will jump out of the water and then swim away. And so that's telling me someone left the family unit. So after 19 years of practice, there's just repetitive patterns that I've seen. It's not often that I see new things, but when I do, I get super excited. But it really just is a matter of honing in into what it is that they're struggling with. And it's childhood things, but it doesn't mean that caregiver is emotionally or physically abusive. It just simply means that you had many interactions, that you said things to your childlike self and it's not true, but you're still living in that space as an adult. So, it's something that I'm going to tell you may seem like very basic, but it really does work, which actually is meditation. So just like I tell people, if you brush your teeth, which all of us do before we go outside or before we start our day, meditation should be just as important as brushing your teeth. It allows you to clear your mind, connect to source, higher self, whatever you want to call it, God as well. And then you're going to get answers. But meditation is a clear component of being able to clear what's going on in your head. Just like you start thinking about your goals and the things you have to do for the day and the errands you have to run. But there's so much in your head that it's not allowing to be clear and free to be able to connect to hear answers. And that's why meditation is a key component of being able to get your answers from within.
That's interesting. Um, can you explain what generation patterns are and how they impact us?
That. So generational patterns are what, let's say, like you have a grandparent and they say, Babes, if there's anything that you want, you have to save for it. You have to have the money in the bank to buy it. No credit cards, you just have to save and work hard. So that's a generational pattern of them saying that you are not going to be able to get ahead unless you work really hard and have the money in the bank, and then you can get it. That's one. And there's another that money doesn't grow on trees, or did you use your head? That's saying that you're not good enough or you're not thinking clearly. It's all these things that are said by either their parents said, great great parents said, and then it's repeated. And then that's where you're doing it and saying it to your friends, family, or children.
How do these patterns typically get passed down through generations?
Well, similar to what I had said. So let me give you a really good one. Hold on. Son, if you don't go to college, you'll never be able to make anything for yourself. You'll never get ahead. You'll only be like all the others. So you need to be strong. You need to be hard. You need to go to school and you need to really focus on getting there. Now, of course, they're supporting you and saying school is important. However, what she's saying is that if you don't go to school, if you don't get a college degree, you'll make nothing of yourself. So what can happen is that you could be struggling with school. You might take a break, a year break just to get your mind, together and decide what it is that you really want to do. Usually at 19, 18, 17 years old, right out of high school and going into college, we don't really know what our soul is asking for. We know we might have an interest in, medical or law or something, but we really don't know if that is going to be something we want to carry on with ourselves for the rest of our lives. So when we're having a parent say, like, you have to do this in order to get that, then that pattern is, I have to have this in order to have that, or I can't get it. Does that make sense now?
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Are there any rituals or techniques you recommend for clearing generational patterns?
Well, here's a really good one. I tell my clients that when you're really stuck in, let's say, judgment, or that you keep repeating a story in your head over and over again, you want to pull out of that. So say, I'm an infinite being. I reclaim my power. This no longer serves me. I send it back where it came from. And thank you. When we're saying that to ourselves, being an infinite being is that we're fully expanded in energy, and we all are energy. I reclaim my power, meaning if someone says something to you and it really upsets you, that's where you're giving over the emotion. You're letting the emotion own you. And then that's where you kind of hang on to it and can't get out of the story. So when you reclaim the power, meaning, nope, I'm not going to let that person shift how I feel because that's what they said, even though it could be a sister, brother, mother, whatever, that's still them and not you. And then so I reclaim my power, this no longer serves me, meaning the feeling that's owning you. Send it back where it came from, her, them, it, there, it doesn't really matter. And thank you, meaning that you're fully present in having the feeling, what triggered the feeling. You don't need to hold on to it or harbor any longer because it really doesn't serve you. If you continue to be angry days, weeks, months, years down the road, is that really going to get you anywhere? And you really want to live in peace and happiness and be attracting abundance. And so you just have to let it go. So that's the key component, to just not own that feeling and just let it go.
Can you explain to us what the ninja training is and what does it ninja training enter?
I love that. So ninja training for inner peace is really part of what I had just kind of thrown out, those little golden nuggets. Meditation, not allowing an emotion to own you. So when you let it go and say, you know what, they were angry. They told me that they didn't like what I said and that they won't talk to me anymore. Well, if you said something that was in judgment, so there's a lot of components to being able to have your inner peace. So I brought up judgment a couple of times, meditation, letting go of your emotions, right? But when we're living in the space of being present in what we're thinking, how we're feeling, and not holding on to it to allow it to shift us, meaning keep us angry for long periods of time, keep us sad for long periods of time. We have to know that what we're experiencing is an opportunity to expand and grow, to be the magnet to abundance, to be in peace and free and be happy. Even though something happened on the outside, it shouldn't be owning you on the inside.
How did you come up with the concept, and what inspired you?
Well, with my spiritual epiphany at the end of a 14-year relationship, I truly did not want to be in this physical body. I felt that I was trying to squeeze love out of a turnip, and I did not feel like I was getting what I was giving. I was pouring in so much love to this individual, and he wasn't giving it back in return. So I thought, well, you know what, God, if this is what love is really about, I don't want it. I don't want this body. I don't want this life. I don't want it. And so I actually woke up after the end of that 14-year relationship, climbed in the bathroom, laid on the floor, and said, okay, God, you can have it. I'm ready. And I actually had an expansion of energy. I literally thought I was in the universe. I left my body. Have you ever had lucid dreaming where you're awake, but your mind is having a dream? Okay. So when I was laying on that bathroom floor, it was similar to lucid dreaming. Like I was wide awake, but my eyes were closed. I actually felt this feeling that I was lifting from my body. But with my eyes closed, I was in the center of the universe. I saw stars all around me. I felt this dampness. I was expanded and I felt free. And then all of a sudden I heard three simple words. Love will come. I was in the middle of a speaker. It was all of this words all around me. I like couldn't say it's to the left, it's to the right, it's up and down. No, it was just all around me. When I heard it, it was very masculine, but it was as if you were telling me your name, that you own it. That's it. And I knew it when I heard it. So I just literally swished back in my body and I stood up. I said, what just happened? I climbed in the bed, and the next morning everything changed. I had this sense that God sent the rope down the hole, and I was able to climb out. I was able to feel like I knew that I was going to get what I had been so desiring all the way to my soul. But what had transpired over those next 3 months, it gave me the strength to actually leave the relationship. And the love that was going to come, because it said love will come, was me loving me. Me knowing that I didn't have to put up with unacceptable behavior. Me knowing that I could speak my truth and have it received. So it was quite a few things that was going on, but it was a process from that moment when I had that full-blown connection, and I'm going to call it God, because I heard those words and I knew it was just, I can only say truth. That's really what I felt it was. And I knew that I was going to have it without a doubt. And to this day, I do. I receive love from everything around me. I'm supported in every way, shape, and form, from clients to friends to family to my cat. Life is not so bad, actually. Life is easy. And that's the way it should be with people. But because we have our childhood stuff and what was told upon us on how we should be living and how we should be proceeding, then our soul's going, this doesn't work for me. I don't want to struggle anymore. I don't want to have what they had. I want what I have. And that's why, I come in, I help you to see what you cannot see. I work in the subconscious place and tell you what's going on, and then I can shift it from the subconscious. But I've been doing the work for over 19 years, so it's been a long time.
Yeah, I had a Google, so I can't say Google. I actually YouTubed you and found a couple of shows on that you was on from, Marriage DC and stuff, and to seeing what you was doing and stuff like that. And I was like, huh, okay.
Yeah, I do that. Thanks for doing your homework.
Well, I had to. And when you said you was on Real Housewives and stuff like that, I was like, yeah, I had to do my homework. I was trying to see who you was. I was because it looked interesting. I was like, wow, okay.
Yes, yes. So I help people that want to be where they want. You know, like they say, I want to have what I have, not what I have, right? I want to
Yeah.
have what I want, excuse me, versus what I have. And because of what your childhood experiences were, that is also what's holding you back from getting what you say you really desire. And it again, it's not about having an emotionally abusive or physically abusive caregiver. It has nothing to do with that. It's really the patterns that you're seeing that were placed in the four walls of your childhood that has you on this trajectory. Let's put it that way. Like you're on uh, you're a train and you're on the track. And this track was everything that your parents or your caregivers told you you must be and how you have to be. But your soul is going, I don't want to be on this track. I want to be over here. I want to have a job that supports me with more abundance. I want to have partners that support and love me and show that they care about my feelings. And those are several things that we're saying that we want, but then we end up attracting someone who, is in it for themselves, and then we just don't understand why we keep attracting them. And the reality is what was shown in your childhood.
Yeah, I can see that. Can you tell me where you from and where you grew up at?
I grew up in Baltimore City. Do you believe that? Yes. Yes, I was. Yes, when I'm going to reveal my age, but when the riots were way back in the 70s, in the early 70s, yeah, it was quite interesting to live. I had to see the struggles that people were in from my end, from their end, from both, how we all interacted, what the challenges were, and how my parents were making ends meet. My dad was a long haul truck driver, and my mom, they both didn't graduate high school. My mom went back and got her GED when I was about 3. So the struggles that I saw, and because of those patterns, I was struggling in my out of high school. I had 2 jobs up until I was 40. And, I was shown that you have to work hard, just sort of what I had said. You have to have the money in the bank to buy anything. And then in my 40s, I said, I don't understand why life has to be struggling like this. My parents struggle. Why do I have to struggle? I don't want to do this anymore. So, just like what most people, you might even found yourself saying, I'm tired of being sick and tired, right? So you just want to stop the train wreck and get off and say, no, I want more, some ease and grace. I want some more fun. I want to travel. I want to have a job that gives me a little bit more comfort, right? So, but it's not about having that windfall with a ticket. Your life is a windfall with a ticket. So let me tell you something. Somebody was asking me years ago when I started in corporate, right? What did I want to see myself in 5 years? You know that traditional sentence, right? I said, I want to make 6 figures. You should have seen these 2 people interviewing. Their shoulders went back. I was 2 men. They looked at each other and they said, lean forward. What makes you think you can do that? In that interview, I said, because no one told me I couldn't. And right at the 5 year mark, I made 6 figures. I made 6 figures at that 5 year mark because when I started with that job, they had multiple layers to it. They had a base salary plus a bonus and a commission on certain things that I was doing. And so I knew I had 5 years to make it happen. And I did. Because once you start hearing that you can't do it, then you've already owned from maybe people that appear in a different position than you do, maybe a supervisor or a parent or a guardian of some sort, right?
Right.
If they're already telling you and setting the seeds that you can't do it because you have to have X, Y, and Z, then you'll never get it. And so when I told him I could make six figures, no one told me I couldn't. I don't have a college degree. However, I have enough street smarts that gives me a master's degree.
Yeah.
You know what that feels like, right? Right. Right. So stop believing whatever people are telling you. Stop believing of what someone put upon you. Clear your mind. And I know you're thinking, a meditation, what's that? Well, I have a free meditation. If you go to my website, it's only 15 minutes long. Download it, listen to it. It has theta sound in the background, which will take you to the deeper level of the mind. And I suggest, and I promise you, if you listen to it every day, listen to it in the morning, because by the end of the day, we're tired, we want to kick back and chill. Nope, listen to it first thing in the morning, 15 minutes. And you're going to come back to me about 8 months. And let me tell you, you're going to say, Miss Terrie, I cannot believe it. Certain things are happening. I'm not the same place. I'm not the same person. I have more money in the bank. I feel this. I feel that. I guarantee it. You should try it. But you have to commit to it. And people say, oh, I keep falling asleep. Well, keep trying. Sit up when you're meditating. Turn your alarm off. Don't look at it when it rings. Set your phone to ring at like 17 minutes, because if you do fall asleep, you're going to prepare yourself that you don't fall asleep. But you gotta keep doing it every day. Sit in a chair with your feet on the ground. It's okay to have a comfortable chair, but just kick back, put the earbuds in, and listen to me talk, and I'll guide you through it. I'll send you out to the universe and back with that theta sound in the background, and I promise you, my friend, your life will change.
I have to try it out.
Please do. It's free. Please do. I'm giving you these tools for success.
I'm going to try it out. What do you do for self-care and maintain with your own energy levels?
There you go. Well, I do meditate and I set boundaries. And somebody else asked me my self care. And of course, meditation is the number one. But, I believe that this body is what is holding our soul, which we all know because there's a soul in there. So we have to nurture it. So we have to eat better. We have to make sure that we're exercising in some way, shape, and form. If it's walking or going to the gym, even if you're walking up and down the stairs, my friends, get those legs moving, right? And I take a bath. I put a candle on. I meditate a little bit at night. I look into the flame. I do these "what will it take" statements. I'm a master manifester. That's how I got on Love and Marriage DC and Real Housewives of Potomac and Good Morning Washington. And, I want people to believe and know that there are alternative ways to shift from the inside and get what you're looking for.
Right. What are some hobbies and interests that you have outside of your healing work?
That's a great question. It's very interesting. I love to do things. Well, travel is my number one. I just got back from the Mediterranean. I went to Spain and Portugal and Italy and Rome. Well, that's Rome, Italy, and Nice, France. So I did that. I went to Australia this past February, and then I went to Egypt the year before. So I want to be a part of what this world has to offer. I want to know and learn. I believe that knowledge is power, right?
Right.
I'm always wanting to know things, and people even sharing with me, even with you sharing with me, just tell me something. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. I love it. Right. Right.
Okay.
So I'm feeling like I can, and that's a form of taking care of myself, is learning something new every day and being able to share it with other people.
How do you balance your personal and professional life?
I love that question. So I don't bring home anything from work, and I don't take anything that's negative inside to me to let it shift me. I don't overlap anything negative from personal to business. I just give it my all when let me explain. I give it my all in my life and my personal life, right?
Hmm.
So when I'm in my professional life, I give it my all too, with passion and compassion, right?
Right.
Which entail feeds me. So it's like, I want more of that. I want more clients to feel good about who they are because I just felt good about the client that I just worked with. And so I feel that I'm in a space where a lot of people can't say they love what they do. But everything in my life, I love what I do, from my personal to my professional life.
Well, I do too. Now,
Good. I love that.
can you share a memorable experience from your work that deeply impacts you?
There's so many, but there's one that really got me. And he came to me from his mom. I believe at the time he was 27. And he started playing football at the age of 8. And he did it all the way through to high school. And then he went to college and did it all the way to the end, where he was minutes away from the NFL of getting chosen. He had gone to the Rose Bowl and all of those college football games. And yep, a scout found him and he's like, okay, we're getting ready to select you. And he knew he was in. Then he had a tragic accident and broke his elbow. But he broke it so badly that he had 8 surgeries, 3 months of physical therapy, and he could only move his arm maybe 1/5 of the way from being able to bend it and bring it all the way to your body. So when he came to me, I remember he looked at me in the eyes and he said these words, "Miss Terrie, I'm handicapped." I'm like, no. So he owned it because the surgeons told him this is the best we can do. Physical therapist said this is the best we can do. And he owned it. So he laid on the bed and I cupped with both of my hands around his elbow. And there's a certain way I breathe by bringing energy in and then exhaling it into where I want it to go. And I was asking God, this is not going to happen. We're going to heal it. We're going to do, X, Y, and Z, whatever I was saying in my head. And I felt this slight rock. It was like a little shake. It was ever so slight that I felt it. And I said, okay, my friend, raise your hand, raise your arm. I am not kidding you. That man took his arm all the way to his chest. I started crying. He started crying. He's like, I can't believe it. What I did was I shifted the emotional connection to when he broke his arm. Because what happened is instantly he said to himself, I'm done. I'm a goner. This is the end. Because based on the feeling he was having, or the physical pain he was having, he knew it was bad. But he owned it that he was over. And so from this day, it's like so magical. He moves his arm now. He's free of any of those restrictions. But the saddest part, he was out of college, well, out of football for such a period of time. He didn't go back. But that's how things can shift for a person so profoundly, by just being able to let go of the emotional connection to what happened. It can be on a physical level, just like him, or an emotional level, like most people that are hanging on to past experiences and can't let go, or struggling, right? Living in lack, can't let go of a story, right? Attracting the same kind of people they don't want in their life. Does all of this make sense to you, my friend?
Yes,
Yeah. Do you meditate? Really? That's awesome. Do you find that what I'm saying could be incorporated into your life with ease and grace?
I believe in anything and by the grace of God.
Absolutely. I love that. And he's always with us. That's right. And that when you ask, you shall receive. But you have to ask in a form, and not always through prayer. It can be you walking down the stairs. At the end of the stairs, you put your shoes on. You could be asking, I'm ready for an amazing day today. I'm ready to receive that amazing day today. And even when it doesn't feel so great, here's the thing. That people will only label an amazing day of it feeling really good. But when it doesn't feel so good, it's an opportunity to see something you may not wanted to have seen, or an opportunity to say, whoa, my boundaries became a little fluid and I'd have to stop that. Or I don't want that person in my life anymore, even though I'm accepting unacceptable behavior. Shut it down. Say no more. So you can understand that when you're asking for answers, you can receive them. They don't always are going to feel so great, but that can be an answer that can catapult you into what you're saying that you want.
You're right. Can you tell us, what advice would you give to someone who wants to explore their intuitive abilities?
Trust, just like we were talking about, God's all around us, right? And getting our answers and clearing our minds. But by trusting to say that I can have what I want. When I manifested being on Real Housewives of Potomac, it took a year. But every morning I'd wake up and say, what will it take to be on national TV? What will it take to be seen and heard as an expert in my field? What will it take? And I would say it, and I would always wrap around, being on TV, because I wanted to be seen in that capacity. But I didn't own it so much that I was repeating it all day long, because that can create lack. You're focusing on what you don't have. So I was focusing on what I did want. I would mention it and I would let it go. I would say it at the end of the evening, right before I was going to bed, and I'd let it go. It took a year, but I never gave up, because I never gave up on myself and my connection to God. I never gave up, and I don't to this day. I know I'm fully connected. I know I help in a profound way. I know I give tips and tricks to help raise people and lift them up, right? And so when I manifested being on Love and Marriage DC, it took 3 months, because I've already experienced being in front of cameras. I already experienced what it knows to be on national TV. And then I know that I wanted to do it again. 3 months. So I'm manifesting another opportunity. But when we say that, we can't fake it. We have to believe it. You know how they say fake it till you make it? No, you have to bring it in and feel it and know it. When you're in meditation, visualize it, and then you can create it. And that's exactly what I did.
I love that. I love it.
Thank you. I want you to own that.
How has your work in intuitive energy healing evolved over the years?
So I started with, kind of playing around with friends and family. And then I started, taking on paying clients. I spent 5 years on a psychic website as a paid advisor. And the psychic work is the strongest probability in an energy field of someone else. And I'm a medium, so I talk to the non-physical, but that's a form of helping people if they haven't had that last conversation, or being able to say, I love you before someone transitions, right? So it is a healing process, but I do specialize in that energy work and clearing the subconscious space. So, developing, trusting, doing whatever it takes. And that's what I do. I still do to this day, do whatever it takes, but not to the point where I'm judgmental and I'm pushing people out of the way. I'm doing it inside of me. I'm trusting and knowing that I can have and create the things that support my financial success.
So, how do you go by, like, is it different for just doing like individuals, like reading someone? Like, how do you do like the actual spirits, like someone's loved ones and stuff like
Well, I have a little process. I close my eyes, I visualize a door back here. The door has light around the door frame and a little window, and I see light through it. And then, practice. When I connect to that, I visualize calling them in, and I bring them in and I can feel it. As if it's almost like when somebody sits next to you, the sofa or the chair will go like that a little bit. You can feel someone sitting down. I feel that same thing where someone sits down next to me, and then I can hear that conversation. I can see movies in my head that they're showing me about their personality, what they liked, things they said, maybe an object. They'll show me an object. Sometimes they'll show me something they gave the individual I'm doing a reading for. I've done readings for family members where the person that is no longer here was murdered. So the mom, usually the mom will come to me and she'll want to know answers. Sometimes they'll be very graphic and tell, and sometimes they'll hold back because they don't want to get them involved depending on how they were murdered. I had even one person show me who murdered him, started describing the whole face and everything. So, but it's a sense of clarity for, yeah, that one was pretty incredible because I thought he was showing me his own face. So I shut him down halfway and I started to describing the person to, it was a former girlfriend and they had a child together. And I started describing, she says, that's the person that I knew murdered, but no one wants to believe me. I described, even though it was a half a face, she said I described who she thought murdered her boyfriend.
Wow,
Yeah, crazy.
that's deep.
It is. Some of the conversations can get very deep, you know? I've had one where it was a husband and wife. The husband died, and she could not get over the fact she was Hispanic, and she was hanging on. And he came in. I remember I speak a little Spanish. I took 4 years in high school and a little bit in college, but I remember he came in speaking Spanish and it was so fast. I said, I can't understand what you're saying. And then I said, I believe he's trying to speak Spanish. She goes, well, and she didn't have an accent, so I couldn't tell that she was Hispanic. And she said, oh, yeah, he's fluent in Spanish. And then she told me, or he told me, that he stares at her when she's standing in front of the mirror. And I said, you have a big mirror in your bedroom? She goes, yes, I do. And I said, he wants you to let him go. He wants you to go ahead and meet someone and let him go. He doesn't want to see you suffering anymore. And whoa, she just started crying, like big time, because she had a feeling she wanted to, but she felt that if she did, that she would be dishonoring him or dishonoring the love that they had, which is not true.
I like that story. Can you
Yeah.
tell me the what goals and visions you have in the future practice?
What was that question?
What goals and visions do you have in the future practice?
My goals and visions. Well, my end result is to be more exposed within TV or those platforms with Netflix or Hulu. And, because I want people to understand that this is real and that's an alternative way of healing from the inside. This truly is real. So, but that's my goal and my vision, to be showing the world that there are things that you can create beyond what you have.
What are the most important messages or message that you would like for our audience to take with our conversation today?
Thank you. To live in gratitude, to trust and know, and to live in gratitude that everything they have, they've already created. So create more, but to believe and trust that you can.
Love it, love it, love it. Last question for today. Are there any upcoming projects or events you're particularly excited about that you want to share with us?
Well, thank you. So I have a private studio in the Metro DC area. Actually, it's in Bethesda, Maryland. And so I just got back to doing group energy work now. It's a small group of 8 people, but I do it monthly. So I just started that back up a couple of months ago. So I'm truly excited to get back into group work. And I still do the one-on-one. I do remote work and face-to-face. So for the first 5 years, my practice was all remote because there's no time and space with energy. So yes, that's what's coming.
All right, all right, all right. We had a good time talking with you on Spotlight Podcast. You can come back anytime. If you got a message you want to give out, get off your chest or anything you want to speak out on, we're glad to have you. You're more than welcome to come back.
Thank you so much. I'm very honored that you allowed me to share. I hope that you did learn something for yourself and for the listeners. And Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's to you.
Thank you. Ta ta for now.